Hey, Jen.
Hello.
Just checking your camera here to make sure you're in the right position. Yeah, everything looks good.
Let's stick this on so it sounds a little better. Oh no,
Is it stuck in your hair?
my earrings.
Oh,
This doesn't work out well.
this is why we do things before the show.
Yeah. Trying to plug things in. Oh, this looks nice.
There we go. Yeah, a little different, eh?
I like it. Makes
Guys,
it look
got
very
new
new,
intro music.
modern.
You got new outro music.
New intro music.
All different.
Oh, I should turn off. Make sure I have all of my ringers turned off because one of these shows, my mom was phoning me.
That's the way it always is, right? Like, I'm live, don't bother me, and then everybody decides to contact you at that exact moment. Contact you at that exact moment.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you don't turn your ringer off.
Yeah, I guess I should do the same. Nobody ever calls me. I should do the same. Airplane mode. Done.
Okay, we're live.
We're live now? Okay.
Welcome to the pre-show. Anyone who's listening, one person.
Welcome, all one people.
Just waiting for our rock star Dawn to show up.
It was nice to see Mike. Eh?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
You guys seen Michael Fox?
Yeah, just had lunch.
The other rock star?
The other rock star, yeah.
The rock star?
The Michael Fox.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Oh, there's Dawn.
Hey guys.
Hey, the gang's all
The
here.
rock star?
The rock star, yeah.
Hey, Ian.
We're calling you the rock star, Don.
Oh man,
This is where it goes to his head.
what's going on, Jen?
Yeah.
Anything exciting?
I'm gonna start smashing up hotel rooms.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, I was just in the Henvey Trust meeting for 4 hours.
4 hours, eh? Wow. How often do they
Yeah,
have them,
well,
Jen?
Quarterly. So
Okay,
usually
yeah.
4
Oh,
hours. Lots to
that
go
makes
through. Plus,
sense.
we had chief and counsel at the table for about an hour, maybe an hour and a
Oh,
half. 'Cause
really? Do
kind
they
of
normally
blocked
sit
that.
in?
No, we had some
Oh,
questions for them.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, is Tony there? Tony?
Oh, hang on. There we go.
Yo, what's up?
I'm just looking for my musical selection.
Why don't we do our call right after this? You know the one we were going to do at 3:30?
My clip.
Are you good, Jen?
Can I have a bit of a break though?
Okay. So what? 3 o'clock then?
What are we done here?
Oh no, sorry, it's 2 till 3. Sorry. Oh, it's right now. It's 3. Okay, I forgot. Yeah, it's 3:30.
I can jump on it.
I don't have my clips
You've-
ready, so I need a.
Oh, okay. You don't
Okay.
have the clips
I
ready.
need 30
Okay.
minutes, but I don't know.
Will
if I
you
need
at
them
3:30
ready.
then?
I don't know if I need them.
I
ready.
well, I'm trying to avoid the other meeting, like the other one I had booked,
Oh,
which I
Wednesday,
thought
you
I
mean?
had anyway. Which was Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Did
I think so, yeah.
I thought I had booked one. So I was just thinking, why don't we just get the pre-dry
You
run
booked one
done
Wednesday, and then
today?
you announced Tuesday we're gonna do a pre-meeting, and I didn't understand that. Time left to show. What do you want to do?
You were talking.
Well, okay, so we got a dry run on Thursday, right? That's for me, that's the one that
Yeah.
That's
matters.
the TAC one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the TAC one. They're going to be present, so it's got to be polished by then, right? So why don't we make the one today our pre-dry run meeting?
Our diamond in the rough.
Yeah, why don't we do that? So when will you have your clips ready, Tony, so we can do that?
I mean, I don't. How long do you want the clips? Like I think that's what the pre-meeting's about. I shouldn't have anything ready. I think we should be like, okay, we need a clip to be a minute here. Let's talk. Let's talk about what we talk about.
Yeah, I don't think any longer than 1 minute.
Yeah, that's all. It's just to give people a sense for like it's just telling the story, right? So,
Yeah.
Okay. So
but I
3
just
minutes.
want us to know when we're doing like when the clips are going to occur, so that when we do the dry run, we don't look
got
like a
some-
bunch of idiots.
We got a little bit of tech stuff we got to do before the show, though. So can we? We'll have to. What were you asking?
Oh, I'm testing.
I'd have
my
to look
notes.
at your outline, Don. I didn't
Yeah,
get to
take a
that
look
either.
at it.
Never mind.
I'm thinking
having a
I'll have to
pre-
shift it to Wednesday because it doesn't sound like there's been any preparation whatsoever by Tony. So let's shift it to Wednesday then. When are you available Wednesday, Jen?
Hang on, let me go back to the map. Wednesday.
Are
This
we?
Wednesday, the 13th.
Is our mic still live?
Yeah.
Like I'm not against doing it, Don. It's like the nature of the meeting. Are you wanting to do a total test run of ourselves talking and everything?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I'd like us to sort of like at least discuss it and say, okay, at this point because I've already laid out everything, right? Who
Yeah,
speaks when, more or less. So I want us to sort of know where those clips are going to insert, so that it's just execution when we do the dry run on Thursday. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's got to be good, Tony. Like on Thursday, because it's TAC, right? We don't want to look like we're totally unprepared and unprofessional.
Yeah, and we can't look like amateurs.
Yeah, like it's we got to take this seriously. It's not sort of an internal thing, it's an external thing. So I mean, if I can push it to tomorrow. Why don't we push it to tomorrow so you can get your clips, and then tomorrow we just sort out when to drop in the clips. Then we got our sequence, and then we just execute on the dry run on Thursday.
Don, I'll send you my available times. I only have two
Sure.
small windows tomorrow.
Okay. We'll need an hour for sure, probably. No more than that.
Okay.
Because you said 4:30. That was the initial thing. Was 4:30 Wednesday, right, Don?
Well, I thought I had
You
I did
scheduled a
tomorrow
meeting.
3:30.
You scheduled
Today 3:30 to 4:30, but then I don't
Wednesday, right?
see mine for tomorrow, so I don't know where that's gone. But
Yeah,
we
'cause
can
you-
do one tomorrow.
You did. We
Whenever you
scheduled
and Jen
for
are
Wednesday,
available.
And then today you wanted a pre meeting, and because we already had it all set up for Wednesday.
I don't have anything for
Yeah,
Wednesday.
I don't
It
have
was only
anything in my
Dawn-
calendar
only
for
Dawn and I
Wednesday.
had set it up because I was going over that was yesterday on the Monday for I forget where Jen was. 'Cause I
Okay.
was talking about the UN
Okay. Why
stuff.
don't we do this then? Why don't we do tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
I
till
can't,
11.
I'm flying.
You're flying?
Okay.
That's why we did the afternoon.
I'm
Okay,
not
so
available
I've got-
tomorrow. I have 2 to 3 or at 5 p.m. And then we have Thursday morning. Ish.
Well, if you can get the clips, Tony, like maybe we, Can you get the clips together so that we could do it at 4 today?
Yeah, we can do it. I'm not averse to doing it today. There's not much I need to do. I just have to edit them to 1-minute pieces.
Okay, so why don't we do
4
it at
p.m.
4, Jen? We'll do it 4 today.
Okay.
So then we don't have the uncertainty of travel tomorrow, right? And whether we end up connecting.
Oh, we have 2 minutes, but okay.
But then
we gotta do
Thursday,
our-
Tony, you're.
We gotta do our radio. Oh, we're live on the radio talking. We could have done this. Okay.
Yeah, let's get our heads in the game here. We're a minute and 48 seconds out.
Sorry, everyone who's listening. We were just going over scheduling.
Fun stuff.
I'm going to mute our studio mic here, so good luck on the radio, and I will talk to you on the other side, guys.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Don Parkinson, and I'm a senior consultation specialist with Atkins Realis. Today, we are continuing our series of live stream topics on the Northern Road Link project as it moves through the provincial environmental assessment and federal impact assessment processes. The topics we are covering parallel our project activities, so we hope these will help our viewers and listeners better understand the project and provide input along the way. Just to remind everyone, we are broadcasting on the Wabate Radio Network to help reach community members about our project. Listeners can call or text us with questions and comments about the project at 1-844 424 0500. That's 1-844 424 0500. We try to keep the show fun and informal while being informative at the same time. We also take music requests as long as you provide us with a comment or question about the project. With me today is my co-host, Jennifer Ashwazagai Pereira, my colleague and an Indigenous engagement and traditional knowledge specialist at Atkins Realis. Jennifer is a member of Henvey Inlet First Nation, located on the French River south of Sudbury, and works with me on our projects across Canada. So, Jen, let's get started, shall we?
Let's get started. Fresh new look, fresh new sound.
Yes, and as I mentioned, today we're going to talk about the wildlife studies that we're undertaking as
Nice.
part of the environmental and impact assessment. So we're gonna sort of start and work at a high level with these. Talk about these at a high level. Talk, in sort of general terms about the study plans, and then, over time we'll dive in more deeply over the over the coming months, and and sort of get across, more detail in terms of what's involved in these studies. So just
Right. We're
why don't we,
reintroducing.
yeah. So why don't we try do a little bit of background here, Jen? Maybe you can run through a bit of the background on the project and just give people an idea of sort of what the Northern Road Link is.
Oh, of course. So the Northern Road Link is a proposed all-season road in Treaty 9 in Ontario. So that is proposed to connect the Ring of Fire mineral deposits area to the all-season highway network through the proposed Martin Falls Community Access Road, as well as to the Webequie Supply Road. So those are two other proposed all-season roads in the area. And so both, or rather the NRL, Northern Road Link, is subject to both the Provincial Environmental Assessment Act and the Federal Impact Assessment Act. And that's why we are talking about all of this information and kind of reintroducing the projects this spring. And we are looking for feedback. And of course, the proponents of the Northern Road Link are Martin Falls First Nation and Webequie First Nation. And so those are a couple of flying communities in Treaty 9, about 500 kilometers north of Thunder Bay, and not accessible by all-season roads. And we also hear that the winter road season wasn't so great this year.
That's true, Jen, and maybe I'll talk a little bit now about the interaction of the Northern Road Link project with the other two all-season road projects, just so people don't get confused here. There are currently 3 environmental and impact assessments being undertaken for 3 different projects. These planned projects actually connect with each other. They began at different times for different reasons, motivated by different reasons. I'll start in the north with the Webequie Supply Road. That is a planned 107-kilometer long road that would begin at Webequie Airport on the reserve lands and run southeast to just east of the Mukotai River and into the Ring of Fire area. And then that would meet the northern end of the Northern Road Link road. And then the southern end of the Northern Road Link road would meet with the Martin Falls Community Access Road, which would then ultimately connect with the provincial highway network. So that's how all these pieces fit in. The purpose of the Northern Road Link is to enable economic activity and the participation of community members in that economic activity by facilitating the transport of goods, services, and resources down to the south. So, as we know, Jen, there is more to an all-season road than just the road itself.
Right.
As you know, and so right now this is a planned all-season multi-use gravel road. And even though it looks kind of funny when we talk about, or it sounds kind of funny when we talk about this, it's between 117 and 164 kilometers. That's because the actual final route for the road hasn't been finalized. The
Right now, yeah.
right of way would be right now, yep. And right now, the right of way is planned to be 100 meters wide, with a cleared area of 60 meters. And there would be numerous water crossings, as you can imagine, going across this landscape, with one large bridge crossing at the Attawapiskat River, right, Jen?
Right.
The big one, over 200
The big
meter
one.
wide. The big one, yes, over 200 meter wide span. And then, typical of all season roads, there's both temporary and permanent other infrastructure, storage and
Right.
laydown areas, maintenance facilities and yards, and the access roads, the roads to get to, for example, the aggregate sites where you get the construction materials to build and maintain the road, the gravel, the rock, etc. And then construction camps to accommodate the workers at different locations along the route as well. So lots of what they call ancillary infrastructure, additional infrastructure associated with the road. So
Yeah, things you need
with
to build
that,
the
Jen,
road.
yes, exactly. That's right. So with that, I think it's time for a break, little musical interlude, and you get to go first today because I
Oh,
went first yesterday.
we're so good at
Did I
taking
catch you?
turns.
We are. Yeah, you tried to take
We
my turn
are.
yesterday,
I
but
did.
yeah, yeah. But
I've learned. I've learned my lessons. So I'm
well,
looking
you know, we can learn.
for.
We learn, we grow, right, Jen?
That's right. Derek Miller. So Derek Miller's from Six Nations, and he's one of my favorites. So I'm digging in the vault for this one. And "Music Is the Medicine" is one of my favorite songs. I'm hoping to hear that. It has a good beat. Music is the medicine.
Can you dance to it, Jen? If it's got a good beat?
You can go ahead.
You got to give him thanks and praises, this I know. Shout out all your love above, this I know. Give him all your love, I'm telling you so. This I know, this I know. Music is the medicine of my soul. Whoa. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to shine that light in your heart. This I know. Shine that light in your heart. This I know. Before you fall apart, I'm telling you so. This I know. Yeah. This I know. Music is the medicine of my soul. Whoa. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah. Going crazy again. Look to my maker, he's my only friend. When burning won't leave me alone. Give me some smoke to send my prayers home. Whoa, yeah. Music is the medicine of my soul. 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 Music is the medicine
Holy smokes, I haven't heard that song for a really long time. Did you
That's a
dance?
great tune, Jen. That's really
I
good.
didn't know he did that. Sorry to cut you guys off there, guys. I was so excited to hear Derek Miller. I haven't heard him in a while.
Right?
That's a great song, Jen.
But did you dance?
Great song.
Not the Derek Miller.
I
but we
didn't.
grew up
I
with
was
the
injured
Derek
from
Miller.
yesterday's dancing session during the radio show.
But you know what song I thought
unable
I
to.
was thinking about was Lovesick Blues, because it's getting to be springtime.
Oh, there you go. Well,
Maybe another
that's next
time.
week.
Maybe another time. Next week
Save
or
that
the
for
week
next
after.
week. Yeah, exactly. There's lots of time. No, that's a great song. How old is that song? Like, when would that have been done
Oh my
originally?
goodness. Why are you asking me this?
I don't know. I think it was a good question.
Gosh. I don't even want to say. Like maybe 17-ish years old. That's
Okay.
like I said, digging in the vault.
Yeah. Well, you're not reaching too far back in the vault. Vault can be very
No.
deep.
That's right. Like some of the ones that you
Yes.
picked.
Yeah, yesterday in particular. That's right.
2002. This
Quality.
was released in 2002. Quality, 22 years. Oh my God.
We have played music. I can attest. We have played music from the 1930s on our radio shows, like blues,
Oh,
some
nice.
old blues. Yeah, we have. I'm sure from the 30s or early 40s. Yeah, some really old classic stuff. So no, that was really good. Okay, let's move on now and talk a little bit about one of the more interesting field programs, and that's the Caribou and Wolverine study plan we're going to talk a bit about. This is really popular with community members just because we get some really cool pictures and there's lots of information that comes out of it. So what this involves is really, generally speaking, it's conducting sort of a variety of surveys to understand the diversity, meaning sort of the richness of species, like the number of different species, and the composition of caribou and wolverine within the project area. So there's a lot of different activities associated with this. There's the winter aerial surveys, which are surveys involving, and these are also done on the ground now too, for the Northern Road Link project. There's so what they involve typically is a series of transects, which are perpendicular lines, so at 90-degree angles to the proposed corridor, and these are flown in the aircraft with usually 3 biologists on board looking out the window and making observations. And
A
these are
plane,
typically
right?
done from a plane, that's right. And these are typically done in February. I think they're prescribed to be done in February by MNRF. And, in certain weather conditions, sunny obviously is one thing. And with snow cover, the idea being if you don't actually see the animals, you can see tracks and then record those locations as evidence of the animals having been there. But of course, when they're doing these surveys, I mean, obviously the main focus is caribou, but also any other observations such as if a wolverine happens to be down there, that would be observed. I think they have been a couple of times, although they're really tricky
Yeah.
to spot.
It might be hard to
because
spot those guys.
there aren't a lot of them, right? They have big areas that they cover. But of course, wolves and moose and lynx as well, other animals, larger mammals, are spotted too, and those observations are all they're all recorded. So it's a really effective way of getting a snapshot, because typically these surveys are done, over the course of a week, and so it's a really effective way of doing that. There's also We also conduct what you call caribou nursery habitat surveys, where the biologists would identify areas that are technically suitable to be nursery areas, meaning they're sort of like isolated. There might be a peninsula in a lake or something like that, just secluded areas where, that might be more free of predators. And so what'll happen is these areas will get identified, and then a team of biologists will go and investigate these areas for signs as to whether it was nursery habitat, or it may have been used or is currently being used as nursery habitat. We also have the Wolverine occupancy survey. This is another popular one with community members. We get lots of great photos from this, and it involves a wooden frame being set up. It's like an apparatus that the Wolverine would climb, and then when they get to a platform, across from them is a large piece of meat dangling from a steel cable,
Little
and the
snack.
idea is, yeah, for a snack, and the idea is for the Wolverine to sort of stand up and get its photo taken as it tries to reach out and grab the meat. So there are
Do they do a
multiple
hair
cameras
sample
set up.
too?
They do,
They have one
yeah.
of
So
those.
they'll
Yeah.
collect a hair sample, by, like the Wolverine having to walk through something that can grab some hair, and so they'll
Hmm.
they'll collect the hair sample. They'll get the photos from the monitoring location, and then using the photos they can hopefully identify whether it's a male or female, and then they can also try to identify by the markings, the unique markings on them, how many different
Hmm.
individuals are using the area. So yeah, it's a great effective way of getting info on an animal that's very difficult to see in the bush. Many people never have seen them in the bush, right? Even people that live there full time, they're very sort of, I don't know what the word for it is,
Elusive.
mercurial, elusive,
They're elusive. Yeah.
um,
They're
like in the
they're
West,
tricksy.
the tricksy.
They're
Yeah, that's
tricksy
right. Yeah,
guys, right?
they're like the equivalent of like mountain lions or cougars in the West, right? They're there, but you very rarely see them in the wild, right? Because they're
Yeah. I
always
used to
in
have a
stealth
hobby
mode. And
farm. I had a hobby farm, and I came home one
did you
evening. I
have
had
cougars on
goats,
the
a
hobby farm?
small. No, a wolverine got in the barn, and
Really? Wow.
I got there just in time. All the goats were all herded in this little corner, and they were standing on an apparatus I had set up for them to play on. And yeah, they were crowded into that little corner, and the wolverine, yeah, he took off pretty quick, but that was quite alarming.
Soon as he saw you, yeah,
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 the
yeah. They're
headlights,
very shy animals.
they are.
Very, very shy animals. They're very rarely seen. I mean, talking to community
And
members.
and they're really great hunters.
Oh, phenomenal, right? Yeah, fearless too.
Hmm.
For a smaller animal, they've been known to take down much larger animals than they
Yeah, they're
are,
not that
right?
small
So
though.
no, they're not that small. You're right, but they're not the size of a moose, either. So,
No, definitely
um,
not. That
but they're
that
quick
would
and
be really
they've got
scary,
big.
I think.
Yeah, they're quick and they got big claws and they're vicious. So so yeah, we've been conducting the Wolverine surveys, and we'll be, I'm sure, sharing some of those photos from the different locations as soon as we can. And then of course the
Right.
caribou GPS collaring, which is a big exercise, and so that involves capturing female caribou who are pregnant, and or capturing female caribou, and then collaring them, and at the same time taking blood samples and hair samples to understand, whether they're from the eastern migratory population or from the boreal population. Again, the eastern migratory population uh, is, they have much wider range, 1,000 kilometers or more each year, while the boreal population stays in the boreal forest and maybe travels no more than maybe 100 kilometers a year. So that yields a lot of data, definitely, because you can track the animals, because they have the collar that identifies where their location is. So caribou and wolverine, there's a lot of resources that are dedicated to them as part of the environmental assessment or an impact assessment. Great, interesting programs. Our biologists love working on those programs, and we can't wait to share that information with you as soon as we get it. So, with that, Jen, before we go to our next song, I want to remind everyone that they can contact us at 1-844-424-0500. That's 1-844-424-0500. You can call or text us. We will also play a song that you want, provided you give us a question or comment about the project. So, with that, let's move to our next song. This one's mine, Jen, so don't take my turn. And
Okay.
I have
thanks,
two
thanks.
versions of it.
We have, so why don't we listen to Mr. Brightside by the Killers?
I have the demo
All
version
right.
on, and the original demo, and then I have the album version. So you get to make that executive decision.
You have a choice.
Let's play the album version. How about that?
no.
Most people have heard that and they like that.
Okay.
It's a great song too. So let's listen to Mr. Brightside by the Killers, and then we'll come back and talk about, what are we going to talk about? The Wildlife and Wildlife Habitat Study Plan. How about that?
Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this? It was only a kiss, it was only a kiss. Now I'm falling asleep and she's calling a cab while he's having a smoke. And
That was Mr. Brightside by the Killers. A
That was a
classic in
good
my
choice. I haven't heard that one for a while either.
That's a great. I love the Killers from Las Vegas, Nevada. The Killers.
Nice.
Yeah, they're great. Okay, let's move along here now, and we're going to now talk a bit about the wildlife and wildlife habitat study plan. And the overall purpose of this plan is to really to find out, to sort of like with all sort of baseline data collection work, we're trying to take a snapshot, right, and understand how things work when it comes to wildlife and wildlife habitat in the study area. And
Right.
by understanding that, and we can look at the project activities and then see and predict that whether there might be impacts or not. And then
Right.
if
And
there
try
are
and plan
impacts,
around their schedules.
yeah, exactly. Well, that too. Yeah, exactly. No, that's a good point. And by trying to identify potential impacts, then we can identify ways of maybe mitigating those impacts, reducing those impacts, right? But you're
Mhm.
right. You're right, Jen. I mean, part of it is that's a really good point. I mean, understanding the way things are now and the movement of the animals and at different times of year, it certainly helps figure out exactly where to put the road to minimize impacts. It helps understand, um, construction windows, right? And when those windows might need to
Yes.
be closed for different reasons.
Because right, we
There's
don't want
lots
to
of
disturb them too
information.
much.
Well,
Mhm.
exactly, right? Exactly. And so, and then the other sort of technical reason is you want to understand the biodiversity, right? So the range of species, the abundance, how many of the different
Mhm.
species, the life cycle, right? The seasonal ranges, where do they go from season to season? Do they move around a lot? Do they stay in the same place? Migration patterns, where do like for example, if you're talking about waterfowl, right, when they're migrating in the spring, uh, where do they stop? Where are there staging areas? Are there areas where they drop down to rest and to feed before continuing their journey? Are there certain sensitive periods for the different wildlife species, land-based wildlife species? So anyway, there's a lot of high level purposes for doing this work. There's many studies or surveys that are done, as you know, Jen, as part of this. There's the winter aerial surveys, right? There's the bat surveys. We've done some bat surveys,
Mhm.
acoustic surveys, where we try to look for bat activity in certain areas because the little brown myotis, as we'll get to a little later on, is a species at risk. It's a
Species at
species of
risk.
bat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And acoustic surveys, right? Listening for reptiles and amphibians, and based on the many hours of recordings, trying to sort of identify maybe what amphibians and what
Who's all in the
reptiles
neighborhood?
are in the neighborhood. That's right. Yeah, just trying to get that, paint that picture, right, of what's going on out
Mhm.
there in the different areas of the study area. So that's really what we're trying to do when we do that, the wildlife and wildlife habitat studies. And with that, Jen, I think we're ready for another song. But before we do that, let me just remind everyone that they can call us at 1-844-424-0500. That's 1-844-424-0500. You can call or text us at this number. And if you have a comment or question about the project, we will also let you make a song request. So, with that, Jen, I pass you the song selecting
Pass me
baton.
the mic. All right.
I'll
So
pass you the mic.
These guys are out of Seattle,
Yes.
and they are the Head and the Heart. And this song is My Friends, another kind of a toe tapping one. Bop your head around. Sing along if you can.
Toe tapper. Got a toe tapper coming up.
A toe tapper and one I like to sing in my car when no one else is
Oh,
there.
okay. Okay.
There's no such thing as love. There's no such thing as God. There's no such thing as you. There's no such thing as us. And tell me, friends, when I'm down, would you pick me up? My friends, my friends. If everyone had rights, would anything go wrong? Would there ever be the need for these politician songs? And tell me, friends, when I'm down, would you pick me up, my friend? Would you pick me up, my friend? My friend. Slipped into a cave one day. I never thought I'd leave that place. When I woke up, the sky had fallen down. Oh, what a waste. And oh, what a waste. Lord, help me right all of the wrongs that I have done. I never meant to do. Ooh, Lord, help me right all of the wrongs that I have done. You know I've done a few. And tell me, friends, when I'm down, would you pick me up, my friend? Would you pick me up, my friend? Would you pick me up, my friend? My friend. My friends. Slipped into a cave one day. I never thought I'd leave that place. I woke up, the sky had fallen down. Lights are written on our face. We try to look and change our fate. Time will always catch us in disguise. My friends, oh, I hear you lost your head again. My friends, looks like old days are here today. My friends.
All right. I enjoyed that song.
That was the
That
right
was a
while
toe
for
tapper,
that,
Jen.
too.
That was
See?
a definite toe tapper.
What did you say, Tony?
Oh, sorry. Hopefully that was the right song. I've never heard them before.
The right song. Yes, yes.
Excellent.
Where are they from? Seattle, you said?
Seattle. Yeah, they're kind of an indie band, folksy-ish, folksy rock folksy.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. No,
I
I
like
like that
them.
one. That was really good. Very,
So we
very.
very toe tappy.
Well, it was a toe tapper. Yeah, that's right. Catchy tune. That's what I was gonna say. Very
Bouncy.
catchy
I
tune.
have before we jump into Species at Risk, on one of my playlists is called Bounce. And so I have grandkids, and they asked me about my bounce playlist. And I said, these are all songs that you just want to bounce to. So we listened to my bounce list, and I had to try out their bounces to every one of those songs. And so this song is on the bounce list, the song we just heard.
Oh, that's on your bounce list. Okay.
It's on the bounce list.
That's a good story. That's a good one. Well, Species at Risk.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's a
let's
lot
talk
here.
a little bit about them. Jen, why don't you run through the list of all the species at risk that are within
That
our
were
study area there?
identified.
It's quite a list.
Okay. There is. So we have wolverine, caribou, and that's both the boreal and eastern migratory populations, a bald eagle, bald eagle. I can't talk today. Barn
No, you
swallow,
can't.
the bank swallow. I cannot. Canada warbler, the common nighthawk, the evening grosbeak, rusty blackbird, the olive-sided flycatcher, the yellow rail, and of course that little bat you talked about just earlier, the little brown myotis, and the lake sturgeon. So those are the species that were identified in the study area.
So this kind of ties in, doesn't it, Jen, with what we just talked about with the caribou and wolverine work, because of course they are
Mhm.
species at risk. Both the GPS collaring and the wolverine occupancy studies and the aerial surveys um, are all part of that species. They sort of comprise part of that species at risk study plan. The other activity that's involved, and it's more towards the end once the data's been collected and compiled, is modeling, and this is done by experts in their field. They take the data and observations that have been made over the course of the years doing the baseline studies, and then they do modeling to predict distribution, animal distribution, and abundance. And again, it's all about trying to identify where there might be potential impacts from the project, and then hopefully I help identify mitigation techniques, or whether it's shifting the road this way or that way, or adjusting road design in some way to limit impacts to different wildlife or different species at risk. So, or even timing as you mentioned before, Jen, timing the
Mhm.
work in a different way so that you're not impacting the species at risk at a particularly sensitive time, whether it's breeding season or whatever. So, there's there's a lot to it. There's a lot of studies and activities associated with this species at risk study plan.
That's right.
No
And so
question
we have
about it.
to
But
be mindful of all of our relatives.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, with that, I think we're ready for another musical selection. I'm going to remind everyone that they can contact us at 1-844-424-0500. That's 1-844-424-0500. They can call or text us at this number. And again, if you have a comment or question about the project, you can also give us a music request, and we will honor that request, of course, and play that song for you. But I think it's my turn, Jen,
It is.
and I am going to go with a song by a band called Creed,
I knew it.
and the song
Ooh.
is called "My Sacrifice." Great song, fantastic song. I don't know what it is, 15, 20 years old, maybe something like that, but just a timeless song. Great vocals in it. So, with that, let's listen to My Sacrifice by Creed, if our team has brought that up.
We have it.
All right.
All right, let's listen to it. Creed, My Sacrifice.
let's find peace there. 'Cause when you are with me, I'm free, I'm careless, I believe. Above all the others will fly. This brings tears to my eyes, my sacrifice. I just want to say hello again. I just want to say hello again. Cause when you are with me, I'm free, I'm careless, I believe. Above all the others will fly. This brings tears to my eyes. 'Cause when you are with me, I'm free, I'm careless, I believe. Above all the others will fly. This brings tears to my eyes, my sacrifice, my sacrifice. I just want to say hello again. My sacrifice.
Okay, we
Well, that
are
was
back.
good. I'm feeling nostalgic now, Don.
I love Creed. Creed is great. Who's the lead
Good
singer?
pipes.
What's his name? Oh, amazing, eh? Yeah. What's the lead? Scott Stapp, is it? Tony must know.
Yeah.
Scott Stapp. Is he? He's not alive anymore, though, is he?
No, he's still alive, isn't he?
I don't know.
Oh,
I thought he
no.
passed away. Can't remember.
Let's Google
I
that.
thought he passed away. Anyway, we'll be Googling that. We'll find out shortly. So many talented singers have passed away. You know, you wonder, but what a
he's alive.
voice! Gotta love that voice. He is alive. Okay, sorry to Scott.
Yes.
Sorry, Scott. You're still
Yeah.
with us.
He
That's good to
didn't
hear.
go higher yet.
He didn't go. Yes. Well, with that, let's move to breeding bird study plan, shall we?
Let's look at
So
that.
let's look at the breeding bird study plan. And this is a pretty labor-intensive area as well too. There's a lot of surveys that are associated with breeding birds. So overall, the main purpose is to again to describe the biodiversity, right? The range of species of birds, and then the habitats where they live in the study area. So when we talk
Mhm.
about birds, we're talking about raptors or birds of prey, shorebirds, waterfowl, bog and fen birds, such as the ones you would see, in the muskeg, and then wetland birds as well. So these are pretty, as I mentioned, these are pretty labor-intensive surveys that
So I
require
have
people
a
with.
couple of
Sure.
questions about that. So
Yep.
I know the people who are team members who do this absolutely love doing this, and as a matter of fact, some of our team members take vacation time to go and bird watch, right? And
That's
go
right.
to Northern
Yeah.
Ontario. And I think that's incredibly awesome. that people
Yeah.
love doing this kind of thing for a living. And we're always looking for environmental monitors to join our team. And this is one of those exercises I think that would be incredibly awesome to assist with.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jen. Yeah, we're always looking for monitors, and we want community members to help us in doing this work. We work for the communities, and we want their participation as much as possible. And yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting, to go and do these bird studies. The people that can do these kinds of studies have a like encyclopedic knowledge, right, of bird calls, and they really pride themselves, right, in training their ears and their
Hmm.
eyes, to identify, which species, and yeah, they're pretty dedicated, the people that do this kind of work, but it's hard to find people that have the depth of knowledge to be able to do this. But we're lucky that on our team that we have people that can do that. So
Yeah.
there's a lot
And
of different.
a lot
Sorry,
of
Jen, go
different
ahead.
aspects to it. And for the environmental monitor work, I mean, that can turn into something of a career or find yourself a
Yeah.
niche. This happened in my
Yes.
community. One of my brothers, he was an environmental monitor during our environmental process and throughout the construction period of the wind farm. So, what he does now is he continues to study reptiles and amphibians because that's his jam and that's what he really likes to do. So he's out there spring and summer most of the time, looking at turtles and all the different kinds of salamanders, and we have Massasauga rattlesnakes in our area. So he counts because they capture them, they measure them, and then release them. So he does some really interesting and fascinating work.
That's a great story, Jen, and that's a perfect example of what we're trying to encourage, right? By getting
Mhm.
community members to work with us, because they may find something that really they enjoy, right? And you don't know until you go out and try it. And
And then there's something that you could
that's
already enjoy and go and get paid for it.
well, yeah, yeah, exactly. But quite often, you might enjoy it so much, like you said, you might want to go further, right? And increase your knowledge, and maybe take a course in college or university, and get more deeply involved in it, right? Become more of an expert.
That's
So
right. My
it's
brother
it's
is
great.
now, it's fantastic because he's now a qualified herpetologist. That's what they call the study of amphibians and reptiles and stuff. And he has done presenting at conferences and stuff like that because he just loves his work.
That's great. That's a great story. Well, there's so many different kinds of surveys that are done, and we've got, some of them listed, in our
Mm.
PowerPoint from our live stream, and breeding bird point count surveys where the biologist will go to a specific location, and then be there for a period of time just listening, right? And recording what they hear in terms trying to identify the calls and the species, and acoustic bird sampling, where they're recording information and then listen to it maybe later on to identify the calls that occurred at a particular location. Um, there's the other kinds of some other kinds of surveys, like I love this one, the crepuscular bird surveys, which are the surveys that are done um, during the crepuscular times, as I say, Jen, which is dusk and dawn. So
All
right
the time,
between,
yes, because we say that all the
yeah,
time.
between darkness and light. I say it all the time. I love that word. It's a great word, and a great way to impress others is by using words like crepuscular, I think, and that's why I try to work it in as much as I can. And then there's waterfowl migration surveys as
I like
well.
to say
These are big
twilight,
ones.
but
Yeah, Twilight. Yeah, that's right. And then the waterfall migration, these are big surveys, right? So they're typically aerial surveys. They're also done on the ground, but
mhm.
they're aerial surveys because you can, when you're talking about, the areas where our study area is, you're talking about literally thousands of waterfowl migrating north and or south, I guess, depending on the time of year. And they will stage at certain locations, usually large water bodies, where they can
Hmm.
feed and rest. And so those are big surveys as well, too. Big aerial surveys, shorebird migration aerial surveys done typically at the same time, and then the raptor nesting data collection. Um, that that is done
We're looking at.
usually as part of the winter aerial surveys
Oh,
because
okay.
they use big stick nests, right? And
Yeah.
so those are easy to
Weasels.
spot when the leaves are off the trees. And
Hmm.
you've got an airplane flying around thousands of kilometers, covering the study area a couple thousand kilometers. They're going to run into see a few raptor nests, big stick nests for bald eagles or osprey or uh, or other raptors. So they'll
Hawks,
they'll
falcons.
record those locations. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely. So anyway, lots of different kinds of studies. But we have time for one more song, I think, Jen. Whatever's next on
Oh,
your
cutting her
on
close.
your
We got
pick
the
list. We're cutting her
Strumbellas.
close.
Okay,
Spirits.
it's ready.
All right, let's go.
Let's
Needs no further introduction. Strumbellas.
I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't. I've been looking at the stars tonight, and I think, oh, how I miss that bright sun. I'll be a dreamer till the day I die. But they say, oh, how the good die young. But we're all strange, and maybe we don't want to change. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. When the gun still rattles, the gun still rattles. Oh, I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I spent a lot of nights on the run, and I think, oh, like I'm lost and can't be found. I'm just waiting for my day to come. And I think, oh, I don't wanna let you down. 'Cause something inside has changed, and maybe we don't wanna stay the same. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. But the gun still rattles, the gun still rattles. Oh, but the gun still rattles, the gun still rattles. Oh, and I don't want a never-ending life. I just wanna be alive while I'm here. And I don't want a never-ending life. I just wanna be alive while I'm here. And I don't want to see another.
All right. I've been listening to the Strumbellas since forever, before this song came out on mainstream radio.
It's a great song.
Yeah, great. Where are they
It's a
from,
good
Jen?
one. I forget.
Yeah, no, they're great. Yeah, I really like them. It's unique, right? There's something about that sound that's really unique, but they've been around for a while.
They have been, and I was shocked to hear them on the radio one day. What?
Oh, really?
Strumbellas on the
Yeah,
radio?
yeah. Well, that was a good show. Lots happening. That wraps up
Hmm.
today's show, where we discussed the sort of at a high level the wildlife studies. as usual, we hope it was helpful and encourage you to come back and join us again next week. Next week, we're going to talk a bit about the vegetation studies.
Nice.
So again, don't forget to keep in touch with our team members via the contact information on our website, northernroadlink.ca, and make sure to look out for project updates on social media and our website, because we're everywhere. We're everywhere, aren't we?
And if we are, and if you're interested in becoming an environmental monitor, that works too.
Miigwech, and see you next week.
Miigwech, Bamapi.